In this lesson, you will be learning about absolute value equations. Okay, so if we look at the first one, we know that the symbol for the absolute value is two lines around the variable or the number, okay? So this number right here represents the distance from 0 on the number line, okay? So if we want to know the absolute value of -3, so we find starting from 0, okay, if we want to know the absolute value to -3, we go 1, 2, 3. So the absolute value is 3. It's the distance from 0. Which means that the absolute value of +3 would also be 3. So if we go 1, 2, 3 to get to +3. Okay, so the absolute value is always a distance, so it will always be positive. Okay, so here if we want to find the absolute value of 6x minus 3. Sorry, this is a little bit off. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it here. On your paper it looks like 6x minus 3. Okay, so what we're saying is that this value inside here, okay, it could equal 15 or it could equal -15. Because when the absolute value, when we take the absolute value of it, it becomes a positive, okay? So here I have my two equations. I have 6x minus 3 could equal 15, or 6x minus 3 could equal -15. Okay, so notice that it's outside of the absolute value here. So now I'm going to add 3 to both sides. 6x equals 18. So here x is going to be equal to 3. Okay, you're always going to have two answers. So here I add 3 to both sides. And I get 6x is going to be equal to -12. Divide by 6. So x is going to be equal to -2. Okay, so x could be 3 or -2. Okay? So basically what I just said, that in this number right here, if I plug in 3, I'm going to get +15, just to check, which equals 15. If I plugged in -2 here, I would get -12 minus 3, which is -15. Okay, so then the absolute value of -15 is going to end up being 15 as well. Okay, so that's why we have two answers. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Here, we want to get the absolute value alone first. Okay, sorry these are a little bit messed up, guys. So on your paper it looks like 2x plus 7 minus 3 is equal to 8. Okay, so here what we want to do first is get the absolute value alone. Okay, so if I add 3 over here, now I have the absolute value alone on the left side. Okay, so now I can say that this value inside could be 11 or -11. Okay, because when we take the absolute value, it becomes 11. So my two equations are 2x plus 7 equals 11, and 2x plus 7 equals -11. Okay, so solve for x on both. 2x is going to be equal to 4. So x equals 2 here. Okay, on the next one, 2x is going to be equal to -18. Divide by 2 on both sides. So x equals -9. Okay, so our two answers here are x is equal to 2 and x is equal to -9. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next one should be written as the absolute value here. It just needs to be brought down. So on your paper it looks like this. Okay, so here I have 2 multiplied to the absolute value. Okay, so to get the absolute value alone, I need to divide by 2 on both sides. Then these 2 divided by 2 cancels out, and I just have 3x minus 4 is equal to 5. So if we look at the value inside the absolute value, this value could be equal to 5 or it could be equal to negative 5. Okay, remember, because when we take the absolute value, it becomes positive. Okay, so my two equations here are 3x minus 4 is equal to 5, and also 3x minus 4 is equal to negative 5. Okay, so solving here, 3x plus 9 divided by 3, so x is equal to 3. Okay, in the second one, if I add 4, I get 3x is equal to negative 1 divided by 3, so x is equal to negative 1/3. Okay, so both of these statements would be true. Okay, so just remember in this section that you first want to get the absolute value alone, okay, and then try and figure out your two equations. Okay, so in this last section, I'd like you guys to try these two on your own and then check back. Okay, so for number 1, I'm going to rewrite it up here. 2x plus 8 is in the parentheses on your paper, which is equal to 6. Okay, so I already have the absolute value by itself, so now I'm going to set the equation equal to positive 6 and also to negative 6. Okay, solve for x. So 2x equals negative 2. Divide by 2, x is equal to negative 1. Okay, over here, if we subtract, we get 2x is equal to negative 14. Divide by 2, x is equal to negative 7. Okay, so those are your two answers for the first one. Okay, moving down to the second one. Okay, so on yours, the parentheses are here. Okay, so in this one, we should have first subtracted the 6 to get the absolute value by itself. Okay, now I can go ahead and make my two equations. So my first one will be 6x minus 8 being positive 2, and the other one, 6x minus 8 being negative 2. Okay, solve for x on both sides, and divide by 6. Okay, so here you're going to get a fraction. I can simplify 10 over 6. If I divide the top and the bottom by 2, I'll get 5/3. Okay, over here, if I add 8 to both sides, I'm going to get 6x is equal to 6. And here, x is equal to 1. Okay, so here are my two answers for x.